I've lived in Sydney, Melbourne, Singapore, London. Auckland is not a city like that. It's simply not that big. And I get a little bit frustrated when I hear people say, oh, Auckland's one of the world's great cities and that's why we pay 10 times income for our houses and everyone wants to live here. That's simply not true. We're not that big. It's not 25 million people. It's not even 4 million people. And not even in the next 30 years are we going to build to be 30 million people. That's not an excuse for expensive housing. It is a great place to live and you can see why people want to live here, but that's no excuse for crazy house prices, and we've got to find a way to make it much more affordable, because there are cities much bigger than us that are frankly more livable than Auckland and have much more affordable housing because they chose to do that.
There is actually a really different dream these days for a lot of Aucklanders. Personally, a quarter acre section for me is a nightmare as opposed to a dream. The reality is though that if you want a quarter acre section, it isn't going to be within a 25 or 30 minute drive of the city. How important is the role of design in medium density building? Absolutely critical. Not just design though, the materials palette is actually also just as critical. Building things out of materials that have a 25 to 30 year lifespan, it's irresponsible.
I wouldn't buy a house if I was in Auckland now. $1 million median house price for a first home buyer. Even a cheap house now is probably way overpriced. They might lose a vast amount of money by trying to buy one. I'd stay right out of the market. And I think it would be great if there was a bust in the market. 5 years ago, house prices were 40% cheaper than they are now, and they were expensive then. I think we should be looking for a bust of at least 40% in terms of a policy objective.
I don't think the quarter acre dream is over for everyone. Generation Zero's sense and what we're hearing is there is an emerging new Kiwi dream which looks very different to the quarter acre dream. What does the emerging Kiwi dream look like? We don't know exactly, it's changing, but certainly things like proximity and nearness to key amenities, to work, to friends, to professional life and to play. The ability to have ease of movement goes to your transport solution, and quality housing.
My advice to first home buyers in Auckland would be absolutely to look in the medium density space, look in the apartment space. There are options available in that price point.
So my advice to first home buyers is to not lose the dream of home ownership. Home ownership is incredibly important in our society. It makes us healthier, happier. It allows us to build much stronger, better educated, healthier families that are more connected to their communities, that don't bounce from school to school. So we shouldn't give up on home ownership, but what we need to do is mobilise to force, encourage, cajole our politicians in particular to change the way that they zone, build, fund housing and infrastructure so that we get a lot more affordable houses. And frankly, that means getting involved in the debate and voting.